Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Jackie and I have today for you a book tag for us to do. Because it is St. Patrick's Day, I decided to do a kind of Irish themed book tag. So I went online and I found this one. It's called the Kiss Me, I'm Irish book tag. I am sorry, I do not remember who created it off the top of my head. I should have probably written that down before I started this video, but you know what? I use natural light and I wanted to get this in before it started fading and all that jazz. And it's a beautiful day outside, so I kind of want to spend some time outside reading. So I wanted to definitely get this done, and so therefore I didn't take the time to go write down who created this text, so I apologize. But it is essentially 11 Irish words with a question associated with them, and you have to find a book that goes with it, which is, you know, not very hard to do. But because I am such a huge fan of St. Patrick's Day, I will probably be doing a St. Patrick's Day book haul like I did for Valentine's Day, but I definitely want to do something else other than just a book haul. So let's get started with the tag. And the first word is green. A book with a green cover. This was actually really easy for me. I, for some reason, have a very large collection of green covered books, which I think is really, really funny. But the one I went with is one that I have not read, and it is Curio by Evangeline Denmark. It is obviously, as you can see, very, very green. This was the Peruse Book Utopia Book Club book. That is a mouthful, if there was one. Peruse Booktopia Book Club Book of the Month, I believe, for February, which I did not get to reading, but hopefully I will read at some point in time this year because it looks pretty good, and I've seen a lot of reviews on it since, and so far everyone has seemed to really kind of like it in their own kind of way. It definitely can relate to a lot of different people, so I'm looking forward to it. The next, it's my cell phone case. Okay, move it out of the way. The next question is Blarney, a book that deceived you into liking it or an overhyped book that you ended up not liking. I'm actually doing both ends of the question, and the first book, the one that deceived me into liking it, is The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I was assigned to read this book in college for a college lit course, and I started off not loving this book. I just didn't think it was going to be up my alley. I didn't really care. It was basically a collection of short stories, but as I read, I realized that all the stories actually intertwined with each other, and at the end, I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the funny part about this book is everybody in my class, minus like 2 other people, really enjoyed this book until the very end, and then they hated it. Me, complete opposite. I did not enjoy this book at all. I had nothing really positive to say about it in class when we were reading it until the very end, and then I ended up writing 3 of the 6 papers for that class on this book alone. So I was really, really pumped about this one, and also this is the first book I have ever had signed by an author. So I was really, really happy about that. Now I didn't get to meet Tim O'Brien. A friend of mine got to go to one of his book signings and took my book with him so he could sign it for me, so yay. Now, an overhyped book that I ended up not liking, and it's not that I didn't like this book, it's just it didn't live up to what everybody was talking about. I mean, everybody raved about this book, that it was the best thing on earth, and it was a life changer, and you had to read it. And that is Cassandra Clare's City of Bones. It's not that I didn't like this book. I liked it enough to want to continue on with the series, but it didn't really scream out to me that I needed to really pay that much. I cannot talk today. I think it's just because it's Monday and it's National Map Day. So, yeah. I just didn't pay that much attention to it. It didn't really hit me on the radar, and I don't know. But I liked it enough to want to continue on with the series, so I guess, you know, points for that. All right, Brogue, a book who has characters with accents. I have quite a few of these because when I was in college, I took a lot of literature courses, and almost every course decided to pick a book that had dialect in it. I don't know why literature professors insisted on doing this, but almost every single one of my classes had one. But I decided to go with one of my favorite books, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Most of the characters in this book are Scottish, and most of it takes place in Scotland. So there is definitely the Scottish brogue dialect written into the book, and it does take a little getting used to reading, but once you get used to it, it's amazing. I love the story. It's one of my favorites. It is a hunker, but it's definitely worth the time that you'll put into it. It's so good. And the show is just amazing. But Jamie, oh Jamie, wish I could travel back in time and meet you. Yes. Love me some Jamie Fraser. Leprechaun, a book you enjoy as a wee little one. I do not have any books that I read when I was a little kid, but there were 3 series that I really clung to, and that was the Nancy Drew series, the Dear America books, which I have mentioned previously in videos. They're the diary style books of young girls during different parts in American history, well, world history actually, written as diaries. So you have like a Revolutionary War, an Irish immigrant, Civil War, all different times, places, social statuses, girls written in diaries, and I just ate those things up. And also the R.L. Stine books. I was definitely a huge fan of those. Those are the books that I really liked. Now, when I was watching this tag online, a lot of people liked Harry Potter for this question. And although I did read Chamber of Secrets when I was a kid, I was in the 7th or 6th grade when it came out, and that's when I read it. I was a kid compared to now, but when I think of Leprechaun and Wee Little One, these are the books that I read as a child, like literally child. Not, you know, someone who's entering puberty where you have different ideas and things like that. So I definitely went with the R.L. Stine, Nancy Drew, and Dear America books. Pot of Gold, a book that costs the most or holds the most value. I tend to not remember prices of books because I just buy them. I have a lot of full price books. I have a lot of discount books. I do. And the few like hardcore collector books that would actually like cost a lot, the most of them were gifts to begin with. So I didn't ask the price, and I never went and sought out to find out, oh, they spent this much on me. Like, that's important. I don't care. You know, that's just weird. So I'm going with the book that holds the most value. And this was actually really hard because all these books hold value for me because they bring back memories of where I was when I first read the book, just different experiences in life that they bring out. But I decided to go with this little book that I picked up in a bookstore when I was in England. I went to England the summer before my senior year, and it was amazing. It's the only foreign country I've ever actually been to besides Mexico, and I don't count that because I lived in California and I lived like 30 minutes away from it, so it really wasn't like foreign to me. You know, it was like, what? Huh? Okay, Tijuana, big what? Big whoop. Woohoo! You know, when I went to England, I flew across the Atlantic Ocean, and I was 17 years old, and I bought this in the gift shop of the Tower of London, and it's The Mysteries of Tower of London, because I love little books like this that just talk about little snippets of history that I can further go and research, and they just kind of give you like a little bit of a taste test of them, and you're like, okay, I really like this story, I want to research it some more, and that's how I find more parts of history I like to get. But I picked this book because it's the only book I bought on that trip. I would remember that trip to the day I die. It was so amazing. England was beautiful. I actually got my first kiss on that trip. So that's kind of a big deal for me too. Another reason why it holds so many memories. But the reason why this book in particular, and this is the book I picked besides all the books I could have bought, was because when I was at the Tower of London, I am a huge, huge lover of the story of Henry VIII and the Six Wives. I have been obsessed with Henry VIII since I was in like the 8th grade, and I was standing on this grassy knoll kind of area, and our tour guide actually came up to me and he said, "You're the one that's been asking about Anne Boleyn." And I said, "Yeah, that's me. I wanted to know where she was buried. I wanted to see it." Sadly, I couldn't see it because it was closed off to visitors, so that kind of sucked. He's like, "I can't show you where she's buried, but I can show you where she was beheaded." And he took me and he put me in this one spot. I remember clearly, he put his arms on my shoulders and kind of walked me to the spot. And he said, "This is where she was beheaded, except she would have been 6 feet in the air because she was on a platform." And I just lost it. I fangirled all over that place. I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was freaking out. I was totally freaking out. People looked at me like, wow, she's fucking crazy. But you know, it's cool. I loved every single second of that trip, and that was one of my favorite moments of that trip, besides, you know, obviously my first kiss. But and no, it was not Prince William. It was not Prince William. Although it would have been so cool. That would have been the coolest experience ever. But it wasn't. But this definitely holds a lot of memories, a lot of value for me because of the memories it holds. Four Leaf Clover, the favorite series of all time. This is really hard because I have never actually read an entire series start to finish. Most of the series I have are still ongoing and they're continuing. There are two main series though that I am very, very huge fans of, and that is the Laurell K. Hamilton and Anita Blake series. I have 19 of the 25 and I didn't feel like bringing them all over here. But it's a huge series. I've loved it since high school. It's the only vampire series that I actually read. I would read Anne Rice, but other than that, I pretty much try to stay away from vampires because, I'm sorry, Twilight just ruined that. Like, no. I will stick with vampires being sexy and don't sparkle. They're sexy because they're dangerous. Like, that's why I like them. End of story. All right. But the series I am picking for this to show is Outlander. This is one of my second favorite series. It is still an ongoing current series. There are currently 8 books out now, and she is writing the 9th. The only problem with this series is this is the first book of the series. This is also the smallest. Here is Voyager, which is the 3rd book in the series, and this is the 2nd largest. The largest is a little bit more. It's about that much more. So these are all hunker books. So it takes some dedication to want to read them, but it's highly worth it, I promise. Magic, a book that was magical or you liked how the magic elements were used. This is a no-brainer for me. Absolutely no-brainer. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I have not read this entire series through. I've only read the 1st and 2nd, as many of you know if you watch my videos. But hands down, this is one of the few books that has magic in it that I am a go-to, and it makes me feel magical. Like, I feel like I'm there, and I feel like I can do all these spells. Like, I feel like if me and Hermione met, we would be like that. We would totally be. But she'd have to back off because I would totally all over Ron. Sorry. It's totally Ron, girl. From day one, liked Ron. So, Hermione, watch it. But definitely Harry Potter. I love the way they use magic in it. I love it. It seems so natural and very real. This is a completely made up world, but it seems like something that can actually exist. J.K. Rowling, however you want to say it, just did a superb job with these. And I've only read the first 2. So. All right. Kiss, favorite pairing current or favorite pairing of all time? Currently, my favorite pairing of all time is Alexander and Tatiana from The Bronze Horseman. I do not have a physical copy of the book because it's on loan to somebody, so she better be reading it because I need it back. My collection is missing it. I might have to get Stalker in about 2.5. That's all I gotta say. But anyway, I love Alexander and Tatiana. I love that love story. It's amazing. I would kill to have that kind of sacrificial love where somebody, you know, just read the damn book, okay, people? Just read it. I can't even describe it. It's that good. Like, I can't find words to describe how emotionally exhausted you will be from reading this book, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It is. It's like, how do I put this? For people who like to work out, that burn you feel the next day, that you're like, you remember like, oh yeah, it's a good burn. If you're not an athlete or, you know, fitness guru person, sex. The soreness of a really good sex or markings, whatever you want to say, yes. Definitely, it's like that. You remember how emotionally exhausting, you're like, that was totally worth it though. It's totally worth it. Yeah. It's that good. Luck. A book you would be lucky to read. I will be lucky to read Gone with the Wind this year by Margaret Mitchell. I just recently purchased this and it took me so long just to bring myself to want to read it. I wanted to read for a long time, but actually like have the guts enough to sit down and do it. So hopefully I will be very lucky if I get to read it this year because there's a lot of big books I want to read this year. There's a lot of books I want to read this year. So we will find out, but I really do want to read this and find out what all the big hype is about because I'm obsessed with the movie. I love the movie. Not as obsessed as my sister is, but I do love the movie quite a lot. Jig, a book you don't currently own, but you would dance a jig if you did. All right, there's this book by M. Gira called The Consumer. It is no longer in publication. To buy a copy of this book, the cheapest I have found it is $150. I really want this book. It's like maybe 200 pages, and I don't know why, but everything I've heard about it is just like, you gotta read this book. I am currently working with my library to try to get an interloan copy, but because it's out of publication, I have to sign waivers and release forms and all this other jazz, and it's kind of being a pain in the ass. So, but I would literally dance if I got my hands on this book. I would totally dance. I would. Up and down. There'd be dancing in the streets. And I live on the main drag of my town, so that would probably be a bad idea for me. And rainbow. The last word is rainbow. To tag people to this tag, I will be tagging Bookie Laura. It's all on you, girl. So see what you got. I hope you guys enjoyed my tag. It's the Kiss Me I'm Irish tag. I'm sorry again that I do not know who created it, but just type in Kiss Me I'm Irish and you'll see it all over the place. It's been around for a few years. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are celebrating the St. Patrick's Day, please be safe. St. Patrick's Day is known for its debauchery, but if you are of the age to drink, please be responsible. Nobody's life is worth a drink. You are talking to someone who is a survivor of a drunk driving accident. I was hit 8 years ago, right around this time, because somebody was drinking and they thought it'd be smart to get behind the wheel of a car. I was lucky. I walked away unscathed. My car was totaled. I should never have walked away from that accident, so trust me when I say it is not worth it. No drink is worth it, so be safe, be responsible, but definitely go out and enjoy the time. And if you're living somewhere where it's nice weather, go out and enjoy it. This is an adult holiday. This is a holiday for fun, to cut loose, to finally experience the world outside that you've been cooped up in your house all winter long. Go out and enjoy it. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Kisses, and I will see you guys all next time. So I'm out.